Is our work session. And we're going to take a look at the fire stations 1 and 4. Chief Sanders.
Mayor and Council, I have with me tonight Chris Cottle with Hussey Gay Bell. He's the lead architect on these projects, as well as John Pickens, who is the engineer, and also Sean's not here, but Sean Nix is also on the team. They're doing a fine job for us. So we're so excited to share with you Station 4. This is a 3D walkthrough, and if you want to go ahead and start playing the video, we'll go through it. That's Chief DeSimone on the motorcycle getting fuel in the back. And Mayor, I'd asked them to make sure you were out front here, but they forgot to put hair, so I guess it's me. But if you have any questions, we're going through. I'm not going to stop the video because it's around a 10-minute, but also go through the station as well. It will go upstairs. Go in the back to the logistics building and share you with what that will look like. This is the foyer. What's really remarkable about this walkthrough, it really gives us the ability. This right here will be a lounge room where the guys can, if they want to stay downstairs during the day, it really help with response time. They can come here during the daytime, and it's closer to the trucks versus having to come down the steps or the fire pole. This is going into in that room you just there was the inn. Also, that's where the elevator and the bathroom is. This is the bay where the apparatus will be sitting. There's other rooms off to the side on the far left-hand side as you're approaching this door. Is where the hot room is, where they do all the cleaning. This is the physical agility room. There's also going to be some turf out there. They use sleds. We'll also use this area for our annual fitness parts of the fitness exam. And what I really like about this technology is we can actually go through each room once Chris gives us the direction to go through and start evaluating each room to make sure that the outlets are correct, that all the features that we intended to have in each room are in the correct location. It really gives them an opportunity to make those adjustments should they need to be made. As I shared with you, it's a two-story fire station, so their station life will be up the top here. This is also on the left-hand corner. This is where the elevator comes up on the right. And then on the left side, you'll see a classroom, which is also a conference room that will be shared and open to the public should they want to hold meetings in the facility. And this will be a training classroom as well for personnel. Now they're going to go into the locker room. This is a joint locker room where they will be able to wash their uniforms as well as their bed linen here. And we've got 5 individual bathrooms with showers in there. Instead of having a group shower setting like we did at Station 2, we're actually doing individual shower and bathrooms in this station. This goes into the day room. This is where they'll be able to, we've got these touchdown stations throughout the building where they can do their training and computer and report work. And to the left-hand side, as you're going down to the back, that's where Bellini's is, the building that sits today. This is the kitchen. And for those that are new to council, there's three. Each shift has its own refrigerator. That's very important. Own pantry. You don't mess with the other crew's food. So we make sure that they have individual refrigerators for their shifts. And this is outside where they can do the grilling. That building in the distance there is the logistics building, which will be in the back of the facility, back of the property. Chris, you have anything you'd like to add with it?
One thing that we've tried to do is put windows at the end of hallways to get daylighting inside the station. Helps a lot with a quality of life, so you're not looking in a dark hallway. This will be state-of-the-art in terms of safety for the firefighters, health and safety, the ventilation system, the hot zone, and keeping separate from the exhaust and the fumes and the contaminants. Also has the alerting system, so they don't have to wake up the whole firehouse. The only ones that will get woken up at night for a call is who needs to be on that call. The lights dim up slowly, so they don't have shock in their eyes. All these things contribute to a welfare of those that will serve here. It's not a Taj Mahal by any means, but it is a quality facility for those that are going to live and work there. One of the ideas that Chief had in the locker room, I thought this was great. They can come in for shift change and not have to wake somebody up. If they want to go work out, they can go put their stuff in the locker room and not disturb anybody else. I think that's a vast improvement over what we did at 2 and 5. And if there's anything else y'all would like to know more about, we're happy to help how we can.
Right. Thank you. So this is you approaching the logistics building here. I don't know if you've seen that property there, but behind this building is a protected area. It has 5 small streams in there. I made the commitment to the community that we would not encroach into that area, and we've designed it to where we're not in that area. And there's also water retention behind this building here to manage the water that will accumulate on this property. This is the logistics building will house classrooms. We will not have any live burn, live fire training on this site, but they will have classroom here in the facility. There's 2 classrooms. This will also be a warming center during the winter if we have to house people that are homeless. And if we ever have an emergency event where we need place to people to stay overnight, they'll be able to stay there. What you just saw in that room is our logistics area. We will have racks there. We keep quite a bit of supplies on similar racks down at the basement of Station 4. And in this area here, we will store some of our reserve fire apparatus, but we'll also do oil changes here. We have a mechanic that a third-party vendor that comes in and does the oil changes, and if they have to replace a tire, replace brakes, they'll do it inside that facility. No major maintenance will go on in that facility, but it'll be light maintenance that we're now having to do at other locations. It'll really save the city a lot of money to be able to do that. So that's it. That's the facility. That's the site plan. Station 1 will kind of look similar to that. The foyer area, the glass area will change. The elevation of the roof line will change, and we'll bring that to you in the next 2 to 3 months. My plan moving forward here, now that you have seen this tonight, and I'll entertain your questions you may have on it, but I plan to meet now with the neighbors in that area. Dan Coffer is going to schedule a meeting. He's going to work with the church over there where High Point Civic Association meets, and then I've made a commitment to Mr. Newberry there in the community that will come over. He wants us to come and have a backyard cookout and share with them. So whatever we got to do to help them and make sure, give them the peace of mind that we're very sensitive to what their concerns are, and we're committed to working well with them. And I believe they'll be very excited once they see the station and what we're going to put there. Any questions?
Mr. Paulson.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about the men and women firefighters and how, is there a separate locker room for the men and the women? How do you deal with that?
The one big locker room is for male or female. The individual restrooms is where there's a separate one. And then they have their separate dorms. There's 3 separate lockers in there as well if they want to put their personal items in there. Biggest thing, firefighters, they used to take their uniforms home because of the bloodborne pathogens and all the concerns. They don't want to take it home to their kids. So they keep all their uniforms in that big locker room that you saw, as well as their workout gear and that kind of equipment will stay in that big locker room. And then the individuals, whichever dorm they have, they'll have an individual locker there, which gives them more privacy. Any other questions?
Yeah, Chief Sanders, I have a few questions. At one point, we thought that we heard that there was going to be a police precinct as part of this.
It was our goal to put a small police precinct there, but the funds are just not allowing us to do that. It was going to be an addition to the front side of that building, but it's not possible. Now, we'll have a single gas pump there and a diesel fuel pump there for the trucks, and then police can come in the back there. There'll be a gate there on that driveway, and then they'll have code access to go into the back and to utilize that. But no, there will not be. The police officers, Chief DeSimone, the police officers are welcome anytime in the fire station. They're welcome to be there. It's a city building.
Is that because they won't be seen otherwise?
No, they'll come in at night to wake those guys up. That's what they'll do, Mayor.
Okay, a couple other questions. And I think I heard you say that both the main building and the logistics building have classrooms that the public can utilize.
That's correct.
Okay,
They will be accessible.
great. And then can you describe what's happening behind the logistics building?
Yeah, John designed the water retention, so this is John Pickens.
Hi, John.
How you doing? So behind the logistics building is basically the topography drops off.
Hold on just a second. Is that mic on,
Yeah, it is.
Anton?
Sorry,
Yeah,
can
get
you
a
hear
little
me?
closer if you would. Thank you.
Behind the logistics building, the topography drops off sharply. Drops off about 30 feet, and then there's a river or a creek down in that draw. But in between the river and the back of the logistics building will be our stormwater management, and that's where we mitigate the rate of runoff from the property. So there's also water quality requirements where you have to capture the first bit of water and treat it to remove particulates from it. So it's a lot of ponds, basically. It's what it
Okay.
looks like.
Well, I expect that the feedback from the neighbors is going to be to save as many trees as possible.
That's
Yeah, we're not touching any of those trees that are in the back there.
that's right. That's all protected by state water buffers.
Okay.
So we're not allowed to go back in there.
Yeah. I don't think you've shown that video to the public yet.
you folks
We're
were the
the-
first. Now we will share it with
I don't know if you want to throw a couple trees in there so it doesn't look so.
But we will, this is conceptual, this
Okay.
is, and we will have final renderings of what that will look like. And I can commit to you that we will have plenty of landscape that will be there to protect that area.
Thank you.
You have my word on that.
Okay, last question. The fire personnel who are at the current station, do they get any say, and were they interviewed? Have they seen this? What do
Oh,
they
yes.
think about it?
I have met with, on a number of occasions, allowed them to put together a list. That's why you now see the workout room downstairs instead of upstairs. They voiced that they wanted that. They wanted a separate locker room. That's why you have that now. So I did listen to them.
Thank you.
It's amazing how firefighters have changed. When I got in the fire service in 1979, we had a sheet, a bedspread, and a pillowcase. Today they have teddy bears, DeSimone. They have pillows, more than one, and they have blankets. I've never seen anything like it. So we listen to that, and we give them plenty of places to put that.
Well, when you started in the fire service, if you had an opinion, the chief said, if you needed an opinion, we'll give you one. Is that right? Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So we're sharing with you now, if you can slide back up to the first couple of slides. So here is the outside of it. The next slide, this shows you the layout of the station. This will be identical, same layout at Station 1, like I said, but the elevation will change somewhat. On the left side there, the first floor, the left side is that hot zone and the gear locker room. And then you have the training tower in the back. The training tower will have no fire in there, but they can go in there and flake hose out and actually utilize water inside that training tower. And they'll do a lot of rappelling, and outside there's a walkway on the top floor of that. Gives them several different options to train in that area. And it also helps us with our ISO requirements, is having this 3-story training tower attached to the fire station. And then on the right side, you saw that as we walked through there. Then on the top floor, you see how it's laid out there. I think Chris and them did an excellent job working with us to make sure that we checked all the boxes for what the folks would like to see changed from what it was at Station 2. The next slide. Logistics building. We're right now going through value engineering through the log of all the things that we can do to reduce cost. As we shared with you the other day in the council briefings, we've already saved, just by taking some of the suggestions from the contractor, about $1.2 million. We've been able to reduce in cost and still pledge to reduce more. Next slide. This is the logistics facility, and I want to really emphasize that those classrooms you see on the left, they'll have an accordion-style partition that you can utilize, but that will be the area that we will also transition into a warming center. Every year we have that concern, and I want to say we're committed to make it. This will have generator as a backup power for the facility, but we'll be able to use this as a warming center during our inclement weather. And I think it's a good approach for us, and we can manage that without having to rely on getting hotel rooms and trying to find a location. Next slide. And this was the site plan that John just shared with you. Fire Station 1, as we shared with you in the briefing the other day, we're working with community development. Ginger's working with us here to ensure that we are addressing the challenges that we have on this small lot, but it will be a much greater improvement once we get the building built. And this project here will be about 3 months behind Station 4 project, because we're still waiting on. We've got everyone off of the. Google has left the property with that hut they had there, and then we've got to take down the radio tower, and been working with legal there, as well as Dave's working with Fulton County, and I think we have one utility still on there. And once we get that utility off, we'll be able to take that down. They're supposed to be off of it by October. The next slide. Okay, Dave. Thank you, guys.
Okay, I'm going to go over the tentative schedule for fire stations 1, 2, and for fire stations 1, 3, and 4. Tonight, I'm going to present schematic design pricing. That's our first look at pricing. That does include a VE in there. June, we will have a neighborhood meeting for Fire Station 4 to introduce everything that you're seeing tonight to the neighborhood. And in July, we will begin design on Fire Station 3. So now we're getting into GMP on the pricings of 1 and 4, and we're going to start design on Fire Station 3, and that's a renovation with an addition. 21st of July council meeting, we'll bring you back here design development pricing, and that's that's when our prices are a little more fine-tuned. You're going to see it come down a little bit more. And then 15 September is when we actually bring to the PFA for your approval the 100% construction documents, and that's where we call it guaranteed maximum pricing. That's when the contractor locks in the price, and then he's at risk to deliver the project at that cost. Okay, and that's for fire stations 1 and 4. Both October, we will be moving the crews out of Fire Station 1 into the new renovated facility up on Roswell Road. It's an Aero leased building, Aero Pest Control. Also, we will begin construction on Fire Stations 1 and 4 in October. We will begin construction on Fire Station 3 in January, beginning of next year. And we expect to have all 3 of these projects finished by December of next year. Okay? So our available budget right now is $38,477,305. We divided that into 3 different buckets. Fire Station 4 got $19,515,385. Fire Station 1 got $16,363,200, and Fire Station 3 right now has $2.598 million in it. Okay, the schematic design pricing. General requirements came in just a little over $1 million. Allotted for Fire Stations 1 is $9.7 million. For Fire Station 4 is $10 million. Logistics building is $3.8 million. Site work for Fire 1 is $3 million, and site work for Fire Station 4 is $4.8 million. So the design pricing, once we get a certain percentage along with the construction documents, we hand them over to the GC, and the GC goes out and finds 3 bids of each trait, and they give them their estimated price. That is a conservative price because we're not fully designed on the building, so that's why we expect these prices to come down as we get more and more in the design. You can see the first, the contractor came back with $1.4 million, actually $1.5 million in VE, and things like the generator, backup generator. The architect inspected, I think it's 350 kilowatts, where the GC said, no, we can make the building operate at 200 kilowatts. So that's a savings to the city. We're still looking at about another $1 million worth of VE. There's actually in the design aspects of the building. So we're carefully looking at those with the city manager's approval to see if she wants to move forward with some of those. Indirect costs. You can see their general conditions, insurance, bonding, and that's the GC's fee at 2.95%. Comes in at $1.5 million. And we're holding 2 big contingencies, a design contingency and a construction contingency. As we start developing the next round of, when we get into DD pricing, you'll see those contingencies start going down as we get to GMP. They'll get down to probably about 2%. And that's more savings that goes back into the budget for Fire Station 3. So you can see that right now we're at $36,741,552. And our available budget was $38,477,305. Gives us leftover right now at $1.735 with a deficit for Fire Station 3 at $862. Staff feels confident that we're going to get that number down to where we'll be able to fully fund Fire Station 3 and then have some more because we're expecting Fire Station 3 to come in probably around $3 million. Any questions on the pricing or the schedule? Yes.
I just want to make sure, so, and this might be more for Chief, we are going to get one of those little videos for Fire Station 1?
So that is a prototype fire station? And
Yes, we will have the 3D.
The
Same-
3D? Yeah, can we get
What
that?
you
We'll
just
get
saw,
that?
yeah.
Okay,
It's
thanks.
just in early design, but we will have that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
All right, we will end the work session. I would like to call this meeting of the Sandy Springs City Council to order for Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. Will the city clerk please make the announcements and call the roll?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Just a reminder to everybody in attendance, please continue to silence all cell phones and other electronic devices at this time. Individuals who would like to provide a public comment at a city council meeting are required to submit those public comment cards in advance of the meeting. Those cards are always available online and at the chamber entrance. As I call roll, please confirm your attendance. Mayor Rusty Paul.
Present.
Councilmember John Paulson.
Here.
Councilmember Melody Kelly.
Present.
Councilmember Melissa Mueller.
Here.
Councilmember Frank Roberts.
Here.
Councilmember Mary Ford.
Here.
Councilmember Andrew Chensky.
Here.
Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comment cards?
No, we haven't received any this evening.
All right, we will close the public comment period. Is there a motion to approve the meeting agenda?
Mayor Paul,
Mr. Paulson.
I move approval of the meeting agenda for Tuesday, May 5th, 2026.
Have a motion by Mr. Paulson. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Roberts. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question's on approval of the meeting agenda. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The meeting agenda is approved. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mayor Paul,
Ms. Mueller.
I move that we approve the consent agenda for Tuesday, May 5th, 2026.
Motion by Ms. Mueller. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Mueller, seconded by Ms. Ford, that we approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question's on the consent agenda. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Consent agenda is approved. Moving to presentations, will the clerk please read the first item?
Yep, this is agenda item number 2026-115, and it's a proclamation in recognition of Water Safety Month presented by Mayor Rusty Paul.
I have a proclamation here, and I think we have some representatives. They're waving. That's great. Yeah, we're proud you're here. Thank you. Be prepared to come down just a moment. I'm going to read the proclamation. Whereas drowning is the leading cause of accidental death in children ages 1 through 4 years in the United States, and whereas drowning is the second leading cause of accidental death in children ages 5 through 14 in the United States, and whereas all reviewed drowning deaths for children in the state of Georgia reported as preventable in the most recent Georgia Child Fatality Review Panel annual report, and whereas collaboration among government agencies, nonprofit organizations, schools, and community stakeholders is essential to effectively address water safety challenges and promote a culture of safe swimming and recreation. And whereas promoting proper supervision, barriers, and emergency preparedness can reduce the risk of drowning incidents, especially among children and inexperienced swimmers. And whereas National Water Safety Month, designated as the month of May, aims to raise awareness about the importance of water safety education and drowning prevention measures, and whereas the Atlanta Water Safety Coalition seeks to use the platform of National Water Safety Month to elevate opportunities for swimming lessons, water safety education, lifeguard training and recruitment, and CPR certification provided by coalition partners, learning to swim and understanding water safety practices are crucial skills that can save lives and prevent tragedies. And whereas the Atlanta Water Safety Coalition has come together to build a culture of water safety and combat drowning, especially childhood drowning, that disproportionately kills black and brown children. Now, therefore, I, Russell K. Paul, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Sandy Springs and on behalf of the city council, do hereby proclaim May 2026 as Water Safety Month in Sandy Springs, given under my hand in the seal of Sandy Springs, Georgia, on this, the 5th day of May 2026. If you'll come down, we'll present you with a proclamation. Line up right here. You got the top. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Oh, you brought the whole team. Good to see you. How are you? Good to see you. Didn't realize I had people in here actually knew. Who gets the plaque? Who gets the proclamation? All right, well, good.
Natalie from our Cowart Family Y on Ashford Dunwoody Road, which serves Sandy Springs.
Okay, well, good.
All right, everybody sweep in. Up here, and here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Russell.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Stay for the entertainment. When I was in college, my freshman PE class was drown proofing. And I had a friend of mine, I'll call him Steve because that was his name. I won't tell you his last name. Nobody would know him anyway. He took drown proofing because he couldn't swim and he thought that would help him. So when the coach got through and we all rolled into the pool, the first thing that happened was the coach had to rescue him from drowning. So, but they worked with him and he was drown proofed by the end of the term. So that was great. Thank you again for being here. All right, moving to public hearings. Will the clerk please read the first item?
This is agenda item number 2026-116, consideration of a resolution to adopt the 2026 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan. This evening it's being presented by our Grants Administrator, Dabney Brand.
Ms. Brand.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am here with a resolution for your consideration to adopt the 2026 Annual Action Plan, which is a component of the city's Community Development Block Grant. The 5-year consolidated plan adopted in 2023 is carried out through the annual action plans. The annual action plan provides a concise summary of the actions, activities, and specific federal and non-federal resources that will be used each year to address priority needs and specific goals identified in the consolidated plan. The city is required to create and update its annual action plan summary of annual activities for the use of the funds of the CDBG program. The 5-year consolidated plan recommended that funds be used for sidewalk construction, design, utility relocation, and potential right-of-way acquisition. In 2026, staff will continue to work on the implementation of the South Roswell Road multi-year sidewalk project, specifically the area south of Interstate 285 that runs along Roswell Road from Northwood Drive to Stewart Drive, and from Stewart Drive to Long Island Drive. Also, the Hope Road sidewalk project in the north end, starting at Roswell Road to Dunwoody Place, is planned. The funds can also be used to defease the 108 loan amount. Staff has prepared the draft annual action plan and made it available for public review and comment and held a public hearing on March 17, 2026. Staff recommends approval of resolution to adopt Sandy Springs 2026 annual action plan.
Have we received any public comment cards? All right, we'll close the public comment period. You've heard the report of the Grants Administrator. What's the desire of council?
Mayor Paul,
Dr. Kelly.
I move approval of agenda item 2028-116, the adoption of the 2026 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan.
Got a motion by Dr. Kelly. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Dr. Kelly, seconded by Mr. Chinsky, that we approve agenda item 2026-116, a resolution to adopt the 2026 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question's on the approval of the 2026 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The item is approved. The clerk will please read the next item.
Agenda item number 2026-117, that's ABL number 28446. Consideration of approval of the alcoholic beverage license application for Divinely Elegant Vines, LLC, at 203 Hildebrand Drive, Sandy Springs, Georgia, 30328. The applicant is Jacinta Waldo for packaged wine and wine tasting, presented by Revenue Manager Corey Holiness.
Ms. Holiness.
Good evening, Mayor Paul and City Council. This is a new alcohol license for District 3 for a packaged wine and wine tasting, Divinely Elegant Vines, LLC, 203 Hildebrand Drive, Sandy Springs, Georgia, 30328. The applicant, Jacinta Waldo, has met all requirements and staff recommends approval.
Received any public comment cards? All right, we'll close the public comment period. What's the desire of council?
Mayor Paul,
Ms. Mueller.
I move that we approve agenda item 2026-117, ABL number 28446, for the approval of the alcoholic beverage license application for Divinely Elegant Vines LLC at 203 Hildebrand Drive, Sandy Springs, Georgia. The applicant is Jessena Waldo for package and wine tasting.
A motion by Ms. Mueller. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Mueller, seconded by Mr. Roberts, that we approve agenda item 2026-117, the alcoholic beverage license application for Divinely Elegant Vines. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question is on agenda item 2026-117, the alcoholic beverage license approval for Divinely Elegant Vines. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The item is approved. The clerk will please read the next item.
This is agenda item number 2026-118, ABL number 28478. Consideration of approval of an alcoholic beverage license application for Crave Kitchen Bistro LLC at 8610 Roswell Road, that's Suite 140, Sandy Springs, Georgia, 30350. The applicant is Habib Ruiz Gumas for consumption on the premises for distilled spirits, beer, and wine. Again, presented by Revenue Manager Corey Holiness.
Ms. Holiness.
This is a new alcohol license for District 2 for consumption on the premises of wine, malt beverage, and distilled spirits. Crave Kitchen and Bistro, LLC, 8610 Roswell Road, Suite 140, Sandy Springs, Georgia, 30350. The applicant, Habib Reese Humus, has met all requirements, and staff recommends approval.
Any public comment cards? We'll close the public comment period. You've heard the report of the Revenue Manager. What's the desire of council?
Mayor Paul,
Dr. Kelly.
I move approval of agenda item 2026-118, an alcoholic beverage license application for Crave Kitchen and Bistro LLC at 8610 Roswell Road, Suite 140, Sandy Springs, Georgia, 30350.
Motion by Dr. Kelly. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Paulson. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question is on agenda item 2026-118, the alcoholic beverage license approval for Crave Kitchen and Bistro. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The item is approved. The clerk will please read the next item.
Agenda item number 2026-119, consideration of a resolution to approve contract award to Atkins Realis USA, Inc. for design services for Roberts Drive Side Path Phase 1 project, that's S2 123, and to authorize the city manager to execute the contract. Presented by Public Works Director Marty Martin.
Mr. Martin.
Mayor and Council, good evening. Tonight I bring to you an award recommendation to Atkins Realis for the design of the Roberts Drive Side Path Phase 1 project, and request authorization for the city manager to execute that contract with Atkins. A little background: the Roberts Drive Side Path Phase 1 project enhances safety and mobility of pedestrians and cyclists traveling on Roberts Drive from Dunwoody Place to Island Ford Parkway. Proposed work includes a 12-foot wide concrete side path, landscape buffer with street tree planting, and pedestrian scale lighting. 2 mid-block crossings are contemplated with the project as well, one located near Pride Place and the other near the Chattahoochee River National Rec Area, Island Ford Park, to connect the new side path to existing sidewalks. The project also connects the new side path and the recently reconstructed Roberts Drive Bridge over State Route 400, constructed by the Georgia Department of Transportation. Now, in the interest of getting this contract award recommendation to you tonight, the city issued a request for qualifications on August 13, 2025. Since this project uses federal funds provided by the Atlanta Regional Commission through GDOT, and in accordance with the city's procurement policy and GDOT's Manual on Procurement of Engineering and Design-Related Services, the RFQ was issued as a multi-phase advertisement. Phase 1 statement of qualifications were due on October 1st of 2025. Of the 8 consultants responding, 4 were selected and shortlisted. On October 28, 2025, the 4 shortlisted consultants were invited to submit to the Phase 2 technical approaches. The 4 shortlisted consultants were Atkins Realis, BCC Engineering, Gresham Smith and Partners, and Infrastructure Consulting and Engineering. A committee of 5 staff members evaluated those 4 consultants based on the following criteria: project manager experience and key team members, experience and qualifications, project manager and key team leaders, resources and workload capacity, the overall technical approach provided by each consultant, and their past performance. Proposal scoring by the evaluation committee for the four firms were as follows, with Atkins receiving a score of 850 points, Infrastructure Consulting Engineering 700 points, Gresham Smith and Partners at 675, and BCC Engineering at 575 points. Based upon the review of the scoring as well as review of Atkins' fee proposal, staff recommends that the city award a design contract for S2123 Roberts Drive Side Path Phase 1 project to Atkins in the amount of $901,634.17. The current fee proposal provided by Atkins, as mentioned, is $901,634.17. Adequate funds have been budgeted and allocated for this project. The next agenda item we'll talk about will tell you where those funds specifically are going to be proposed to be provided. So with that, Mayor and Council, that's our award recommendation.
You've heard the report of the Public Works Director. What's the desire of council?
Mayor Paul.
Mr. Paulson.
I move approval of agenda item 2026-119, resolution to approve the contract award to Atkins Realis USA for design services for Roberts Drive Side Path Phase 1 project S2123 and to authorize city manager to execute same.
You have a motion by Mr. Paulson. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Paulson, seconded by Dr. Kelly, that we approve agenda item 2026-119, a contract award to Atkins Realis for design services for the Roberts Drive Side Path project. Any discussion?
I have a question.
Dr. Kelly.
I wanted to understand how the consensus proposal scores were calculated. Is it, so the 5 individuals who were a part of the committee?
That's correct.
And they gave a score of out of 100,
or in this case, an available of 1,000, if you across the entire range of available points here.
Okay, so it was like 200 each?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to make sure because the points add up to 100. So where's the 200 come from? Well, from the 4, I guess the 4 categories, criteria, rather. I'm just, yeah, I don't know. I'm just, okay.
Are you satisfied with, you didn't get an answer to your question?
No. So, I don't know. I'm just curious about how the numbers correlate. That's all. Yep.
All right. Within this case, with the oversight of our purchasing department, staff provided their scores against each of the individual consultant members, gave an available score, and then as well against an overall scale. Staff proposed a consensus score, and that's the consensus score you see in front of you.
Manny, Marty.
So if you add 5 times 100, it's 500.
Right. But I guess then how do you get to 850, 700, and 675 is the question.
And not looking at the score sheets in front of me right now, Mayor, I can't show you the other math that went into the subshred of how everybody scored, and then we came up with an overall score. There's another, but within that, there was an overall score adjustment to 0.85 against the overall score.
If it pleases council, let's table this one to the 19th, and we'll bring that answer back to you.
Yeah, because the numbers don't quite add up.
No.
You know, not that we think there's anything nefarious, but it's just we want to make sure. I'm not a math major, but we got a couple of people around here who are pretty good at it.
No, I get it. So, no, I don't have the tally sheets in front of me right now that can tell you what other math went into how they add the scores up here.
Okay. Mr. Paulson, would you be willing to change your motion to table this? And then we can take it up whenever staff's ready to present it to us.
I will with a question of, does this affect anything regarding project timeline? Do we lose funding? Does anybody get mad if we don't do this in for 2
I'm
weeks?
going to bring you numbers back in 2 weeks.
Okay, well, I suspect it's actually pretty simple math, but why
Yeah,
don't you bring it
so-
back so we can all see it?
No, so I'll bring
With
you
that,
numbers back in 2 weeks.
I move that I
with
table this
schedules.
I table this item until further notice.
Dr. Kelly, are you still?
I'll support it.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to table agenda item 2026-119. Tabling it means we can pull it off pull it back up at any time to approve the contract award for Atkins Realis. So the motion on the floor is to table. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question is on the motion to table. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The item is tabled. The clerk will please read the next item.
Agenda item number 2026-120, consideration of a resolution to approve supplemental agreement number 1 to the original project framework agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation for the design of the Roberts Drive Side Path Phase 1 project, and to authorize the mayor to execute the agreement. Presented by Public Works Director Marty Martin.
Mr. Martin.
All right, Mayor and Council, in the interest of funding an item that I hope to bring back to you in about 2 weeks, we do recommend that you approve the execution of a supplemental agreement to the project framework agreement for this same project. In this case, project number S2123 in GDOT lingo PI 0021209. The original project framework agreement for this project dated September 4, 2025 was approved by Mayor and Council on August 5th and provided $216,000 in federal funding for preliminary engineering with a local match requirement of $54,000 or 20%. In January 26th, the city had requested additional PE funds subsequent to the full amount known for the design of the project from the Atlanta Regional Commission with an independent cost estimate prepared in-house validating that original funding request. Of the original amount, the city requested, the original funding request was insufficient by $504,307 based on the total delivery of the PE work. One task only was contemplated originally. So against the original PFA, the ARC increased their award, providing a total of $721,000 in federal funds with a required local match of an overall $180,327. As with the T-SPLOST budget, there are adequate funds available for the T-SPLOST project S2121 in local funds to provide their 20% match required for the project. So with that and with the tremendous support we received from ARC in this case to fully fund PE at this time, we recommend acceptance of this supplemental project framework agreement to accept the additional funding.
Let me make an inquiry before I call for motions and debate. This is just an agreement with ARC and GDOT about the funding. It has no impact on who we decide is the actual contractor. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
This is solely for the
Just want to make sure that we were clear that what you're called on to approve is, while it's related to the previous one, it is not necessarily directly tied to that. So with that, you've heard the...
Mayor Paul, if I have a question, if I may. Let's say for some reason when we bring the first item back, we don't like it and we go back at the bid and the next bid comes in $20,000 more, then we've approved this, but this is not enough to fund the project. We have to then refund this, refund it again for whatever the delta is. It's weird that we're agreeing to the money that we didn't approve the contract for. I understand you could say they're not
I think I can
tied.
explain that, Mr. Paulson. Regardless of who the contractor is, we need to approve the agreement to fund, at least at this point, whatever is available on the table. If we don't agree to receive the money, it could well go away. Not likely, but it's possible.
In the case of this project, I think if we were to need an additional $20,000 where we'd ask ARC, they'd be forthcoming with the monies.
All right, so
just
you're
maybe not
uncoupling
right
these
away.
two.
They were very supportive with our additional funds request.
They're tied together, but not inextricably linked.
I got it.
They're two separate decisions. In other words, this one is not dependent upon who the contractor is.
Mayor Paul.
Mr. Paulson.
I move approval of agenda item 2026-120, resolution to approve supplement agreement number 1 to the original project framework agreement with the Georgia DOT for the design of the Roberts Drive Side Path Phase 1 project and authorize the mayor to execute agreement.
We have a motion by Mr. Paulson. Is there a second? Motion by Mr. Paulson, seconded by Dr. Kelly, that we approve agenda item 2026-120, a resolution approving supplemental agreement number 1 to the original project framework agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation for design of the Roberts Drive Side Path. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question is on agenda item 2026-120, approving a supplemental agreement to the original project framework agreement with the Georgia Department of Transportation for design of the Roberts Drive Side Path. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The item is approved. The clerk will please read the next item.
Agenda item number 2026-121, consideration of a resolution to approve contract award to Excellior Construction LLC to construct the Mountain Creek Road Stormwater Maintenance Phase 2 project and to authorize the city manager to execute the contract. Presented by Public Works Director Marty Martin.
Mr. Martin.
Mayor and Council, in this agenda memo, I bring to you a recommendation to award a contract in the amount of $404,030 to Excellior Construction for construction of Phase 2 of the Mountain Creek Road Stormwater Maintenance Project. We recently completed Phase 1 of that work. In 2024, the city engaged a consultant to develop plans to correct deficiencies in the stormwater system under Mountain Creek Road near the properties located at 5760 and 5775 Mountain Creek Road. The plans for the planned maintenance were developed and permitted. Construction project divided into 2 phases at the time. Phase 1 now complete, with work in Phase 1 to include trenchless rehabilitation of a 60-inch corrugated metal pipe culvert and reconstruction of the head wall at the downstream property. Project scope consists of restoration of approximately 90 linear feet of 60-inch corrugated metal pipe using centrifugally cast concrete pipe, as well as installation of 1 cast-in-place reinforced concrete head wall and downstream stream bed protection. To advance the project, the city issued an invitation to bid on March 5, 2026, seeking bids from qualified contractors to construct the project. Addendum 1 was issued on March 27, and Addendum 2 on April 2, 2026. 3 contractors bid this project. Of those, Excellior Construction, in the amount of $404,030, was the most responsive and responsible bidder. With that, and our evidence of satisfactory performance from Excellior and other projects they've had with the city, staff recommends award to Excellior Construction.
You've heard the report of the Public Works Director. What's the desire of council?
Mayor Paul.
Mr. Chinsky.
I move approval of agenda item 2026-121 to approve a contract award to Excellior Construction LLC to construct the Mountain Creek Road Stormwater Maintenance Phase 2 project and to authorize the city manager to execute the contract.
Motion by Mr. Chinsky. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Chinsky, seconded by Ms. Mueller, that we approve agenda item 2026-121, a contract award to Excellior Construction to construct the Mountain Creek Road Stormwater Maintenance Phase 2 project. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question is on agenda item 2026-121, contract award to Excellior Construction for the Mountain Creek Road Stormwater Maintenance Phase 2 project. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The item is approved. The clerk will please read the next item.
Agenda item number 2026-122, request for consideration of approval and acceptance of an agreement to purchase fee simple right-of-way and temporary construction easement from the Atlanta Board of Realtors Educational Foundations on that certain tract of land located at 5784 Lake Forest Drive in land lot 123 of the 17th District, City of Sandy Springs, Fulton County, Georgia, in relation to the T2 405 Lake Forest at Allen Road Roundabout Project, presented by Public Works Director Marty Martin.
Mr. Martin.
Mayor and Council, in the interest of furthering execution of T2405, the Lake Forest at Allen Road Roundabout Project, staff recommends that the Mayor and City Council approve and accept an agreement to purchase fee simple right-of-way at this location, 5784 Lake Forest Drive, also known as the Atlanta Board of Regional Realtors Education Foundation. This agreement is related to the roundabout project, as I stated. The acquisition of some 3,138 square feet of right-of-way, 1,877.55 square feet of temporary construction easement on the property is necessary to construct the Lake Forest at Allen Road roundabout project. The city and property owners have come to an amicable agreement in the amount of $203,700, which is the city's appraised fair market value for that property. Therefore, the agreement is deemed to be in the best interest of the city, and staff recommends approval of the agreement.
You've heard the report of the Public Works Director. What's the desire of council?
Mayor Paul.
Ms. Mueller.
Excuse me. I move that we approve agenda item 2026-122 for the approval and acceptance of an agreement to purchase fee simple right-of-way and temporary construction easement from the Atlanta Board of Realtors Educational Foundation, Inc. on that certain tract of land located at 5784 Lake Forest Drive and land lot 123 of the 17th District of City of Sandy Springs in Fulton County, Georgia, in relation to the T2405 Lake Forest and Allen Road roundabout project.
Got a motion by Ms. Mueller. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Mueller, seconded by Mr. Chinsky, that we approve agenda item 2026-122, a purchase fee simple right-of-way and temporary construction easement from the Atlanta Board of Realtors Education Foundation at 5784 Lake Forest Drive. Any discussion? Mr. Chinsky.
Just one quick comment and one question. So the comment, this is less than 1/10 of an acre of land that we're purchasing for over $200,000. I have no doubt that that is what the appraised value was. I just find it an interesting data point of how much the value of land has increased in Sandy Springs as we are evaluating other projects. I just wanted to raise that for my colleagues in the public. And Marty, just to repeat a question that I asked earlier in the budget meeting, in case there's anyone tuning in now that was not there for the budget meeting. If GDOT moves forward with the DDI project at 285 in Roswell Road, I just want to make sure before we spend another $200,000 on the Allen Road roundabout project, we still think that project is going to be worth it, even if Allen Road ends up cul-de-sac from the DDI project.
That's the recommendations, yes, sir. And to that end, a long way to go yet on decisions and impacts to be understood with DDI interchange or whatever else might be offered ultimately as a solution at 285 in Roswell Road.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question's on agenda item 122, agreement to purchase fee simple right-of-way and temporary construction easement from the Atlanta Board of Realtors Education Foundation at 5784 Lake Forest Drive. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The item is approved. The clerk will please read the next item.
Agenda item number 2026-123, consideration of a resolution to approve the project list for submission to Fulton County for incorporation into an intergovernmental agreement for use and distribution of proceeds generated by the 2026 Transportation Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. That's a T-SPLOST referendum. Presented by Public Works Director Marty Martin.
Mr. Martin.
Mayor and council, tonight I bring before you a recommended project list that the city in turn would then submit to Fulton County for consideration into the upcoming 2026 referendum for T-SPLOST and effectively T-SPLOST 3. As many of you recollect, during the 2015 legislative session, State Bill 369 amended ultimately allowed for the first T-SPLOST vote in 2016. Subsequent to that, with that first vote passing, we'll call T-SPLOST 1, another opportunity to continue T-SPLOST was passed by voters on November 2nd, 2021, the end of that first 5-year period. And we're here now at with collections to conclude now, forecasted for March of 2027. We're here now with the opportunity to submit a list to Fulton County, again, consider T-SPLOST Program 3 for the program, for the next program. City representatives have been meeting with Fulton County since early 2026. Initial timetable establishes that jurisdictional lists are due to Fulton County by May 31st of this year, 2026, in the interest of creating an overarching intergovernmental agreement for all the municipalities impacted by the Fulton County T-SPLOST list or T-SPLOST program. Tonight, we suggest that you adopt this project list. Thus, we can submit by May 31st the project list to Fulton County resolution forecasted in August by the county and call for referendum coordinated with elections. Voter and information and education is anticipated for the months of August and September for the T-SPLOST program, with the referendum vote November 3rd of this year.
All right, you've heard the report of the Public Works Director. What's the desire of council?
Mayor Paul.
Mr. Paulson.
I move approval of agenda item 2026-123, resolution to approve the project list for submission to Fulton County for the incorporation into an intergovernment agreement for use and distribution of proceeds generated by the 2026 Transportation Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax Referendum.
Motion by Mr. Paulson. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Paulson, seconded by Mr. Roberts, that we approve agenda item 2026-123, the project list for submission to Fulton County for incorporation into the intergovernmental agreement for use and distribution of proceeds generated by the 2026 Transportation Special Local Option Sales Tax. Any discussion?
Mayor Paul.
Mr. Paulson.
So, Marty, assuming we approve this tonight, you may not be the right person to answer this, but what's the plan to go ahead to the community and promote this, advertise it, explain it, so that when people go to vote in November, they know what they're voting for?
So our intention, and we discussed this in some detail with our communications counterparts, is that August and September of this year, we would bring out a more robust explanation of the projects proposed for Sandy Springs in the T-SPLOST program as a voter education in advance of early voting and then the referendum by the 1st of November. So again, somewhere in the August timeframe is when we intend to bring that more complete update on the program, T-SPLOST 1, T-SPLOST 2, where we've been, where are we now, and then more information on the projects.
That's good. It's good to link 1 and 2 with this one so people actually see what has happened with the past one.
And I think as the voters that have seen, and we've had 4 open houses now on the projects that we've been able to share with the public, this is a continuation of programs we've already undertaken. Hopefully that message comes across as we go through further voter education, and we see that.
T-SPLOST has a long history, and it wasn't until they let the cities be in charge of it that the voters felt comfortable that it would be done correctly. So they have, the first one was approved, in fact, county-wide, Sandy Springs provided the margin for victory, and then the second one won by, I wouldn't say overwhelming, but at least by a significant margin. So people understood that we were trying to do the best job we could with the funds, even though people who live along Johnson Ferry, Mount Vernon, think we've been under construction for 10 years. It's really only been 2.5, right, Marty?
So we're counting right now, Mayor.
So anyway, yeah, it's I think the results have proven that we've tried to be good stewards of their money. Any discussion? Dr. Kelly.
All right, thank you. Marty, let's say we approve this. Does that mean we can't change anything? It's set in stone now, these projects?
Well, so we're bringing a list, let me qualify this. We're bringing a list of proposed projects across 3 tiers, okay, of candidate projects and programs to the voters. Within that list, especially as you look at those programs defined in Tier 2 and Tier 3, Tier 1 being 85% of forecasted collections, Tier 2 being collect up to 100%, and then Tier 3 being should we collect 115% of those items. We're bringing a list with programs that Mayor and Council have the flexibility in the future as opportunities arise to adjust the program. And we have adjusted the program in years past as we've needed different funding with specific dollar amounts to specific projects. We've been able to adjust what we do and have done in the past, as encouraged by Fulton County and the administration of the program, is we bring that recommended change to funding or projects on the list to Mayor and Council so that publicly the public can see a vote on that list as it does get updated or changed. So I think we've had fairly broad capabilities within the proposed list. We have not yet had to entertain a new project not previously identified within the T-SPLOST program, not in my experience with the first 2 rounds of T-SPLOST we've had here yet. But we have some fairly fairly broad range in flexibility within the programs already described within T-SPLOST Tiers 1, 2, and 3 to accommodate what I think might be the transportation needs that could pop up within the time.
Okay, so, and I've talked about this before, but in my district, I hear a lot about Trowbridge. Trowbridge. So let me ask you a couple of questions.
Sure.
One, what's happening there now? Are you comfortable just giving a short description? I know we have a project underway
Well,
now.
I'd probably rather put a plan up on the wall that I don't have available to you tonight to explain exactly what's going to happen. So I can try to wave my hands and describe. But
Okay.
it's a signal upgrade, and there's some change, some curb line improvements, changes as well there. So, but I think if the council wants to know more about
Okay.
that specific project, I think it's best to explain it specifically with a plan in hand so everybody can see exactly what's happening there.
Okay.
Within the T-SPLOST 3 program as proposed, again, not with the specificity you'd like tonight. I hear that, and maybe more so for a more robust explanation in August when I come back to you all, or propose that I come back to you all. For instance, the mid-block crossing program contemplates mid-block crossings both on State Route 9 and in some local streets as well, off the state route. One of those mid-block crossings contemplated in that mid-block crossing program on Roswell Road is just above Roswell Road at Trowbridge. That would put protected pedestrian median and the pedestrian landing features associated with a mid-block crossing, much like the recent, nearly completed, waiting on a few more parts from GDOT, much like that mid-block crossing at North Fulton Government Center, or the other Hawk crossing that we completed several years ago near Long Island on Roswell Road. So that's what's contemplated as a part of the mid-block crossing program here within T-SPLOST Tier 1 for T-SPLOST 3. As we look at other parts of the T-SPLOST program, there's an intersection program, Tier 2. Nothing specifically contemplated there as yet. We look for opportunities that might come along should there be other studies or redevelopment opportunities that would suggest there's an opportunity to pursue additional work within the intersection project based on collections. We could then recommend to you, we would suggest we consider funding something out of intersection program Tier 2 into the T-SPLOST program as we move forward. The same again with Tier 3. Again, that's over $100 million down the collection line, that at some anticipated $16 million above the 100% collection. But there's an access management program. We specifically put that in there, not knowing what redevelopment opportunities that might offer opportunities to the city might avail themselves in the next 5 years with these T-SPLOST funding. And it would give us that opportunity to exercise a line item that's in the program to pursue access management at an appropriate time as some other opportunity creates a greater need at some location on Roswell Road. So there's flexibility with all of these, little specificity to your question about Trowbridge in Tier 1. I believe, and we'll communicate that along with the other Roswell Road mid-block crossing areas we have contemplated when we get to more specificity on the projects in August. I believe that that's certainly within the program right now as contemplated today. And as we look at everything that's being concluded in the agreements, with opportunities within the other tiers as opportunities avail themselves to the city.
Okay. Yeah, because I just want to say, like, when I spent some time, like, combing through our plans, the Roswell Access Management and our Safe Streets, and wherever there are rankings, and, like, for example, in the Safe Streets for All, there's multiple rankings, high injury networks, high injury intersections. Trowbridge is
Well, we'll have high
always-
injury roadways and high injury intersections.
Right.
Correct.
Each one, just throughout this
Right.
document, Trowbridge Road is listed as one of the deadliest, one of the more dangerous intersections. one of the most, they have some metric called crash cost.
And I think that's why it's important. Let me get the plan in front of you for what this Trowbridge project, as we're undertaking now, is going to do. And it's not going to correct all things there. We never touted it as that. But it will. It's going to target certain kinds of accidents at that intersection with the improvements we're undertaking right now. So I want to be more specific to you about specifically what accidents we believe are going to reduce with the intersection, relatively modest, again, intersection improvements we're going to reduce there in the interest of driving down the risk associated with that particular intersection. In some cases, you try to solve it all. In other cases, you try to bring down the risk as you execute a project to a more acceptable level.
Right, and it should also be noted that the entrance for the new North Springs High School will be on Trowbridge. That stretch of road is in our safety plan as a dangerous stretch. So just putting that out there, like we really do need to take a look at it. Thank you.
All right. Ms. Mueller?
So, Marty, when did you say you would be able to come back with the list of proposed projects for the mid-block crossing, the intersection program, and access management program?
I hope to give a more comprehensive T-SPLOS presentation in the August time.
Okay, so August. Yeah. And then for the mid-block crossing program, I mean, I know for the sidewalk program, we have a very structured scoring method for prioritization.
We don't have that.
So we don't have that. This is more of, because there's not as many, I guess, and it's.
Right. So what we'll look to is there are numbers that are going to suggest which, on the state route streets or on the state route, we're going to have big pedestrian numbers, and those areas are going to be scored against some other studies we've done. In the case of Safe Streets for All or Safety Action Plan, Roswell Road's going to have projects that will rise up the list there. Neighborhood streets, less so, far less so, and they don't have the traffic either. So it's going to be that's where the criteria are going to have to probably more
right. See you in August, but then with the lists.
All right.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question's on agenda item 2026-123, approval of the project list for submission to Fulton County for incorporation into an intergovernmental agreement for use and distribution of proceeds generated by the 2026 Transportation Special Local Option Sales Tax. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The item is approved. The clerk will please read the next item.
Agenda item number 2026-124, consideration of a resolution to award fiscal year 2026 nonprofit arts and recreation program contracts and to authorize the city manager to execute those agreements. Presented by Director of Recreation and Parks, Brent Walker.
Mr. Walker.
Evening, Mayor and Council. The city created the nonprofit arts and recreational program to collaborate with nonprofit organizations that offer new programming or to expand eligible existing recreational programs targeted at underserved populations and low-income communities within the city. City Council then appropriated $200,000 in the 2026 budget for the program. On October 21st, 2025, the city issued a request for proposal to solicit responses from qualified nonprofit organizations to partner with the city's Recreation and Parks Department to provide programs and recreational activities for the benefit of underserved and low-income residents of the city. Each eligible nonprofit organization proposing and meeting the requirements of the RFP were allowed to request up to $15,000 in funding. Proposals were due on November 19th of 2025, and Mayor and Council awarded 11 nonprofits funding at the January 20th, 2026 meeting and requested staff to open up the program for a second round. On January 23rd of 2026, the city issued a request for proposal 26-034 and received 9 applications on or before February 23rd of 2026. During the review process, the city received notice from the Sandy Springs Police Foundation that they rescinded their submittal from consideration. Upon review of the application, staff determined that all 8 of the applicants were eligible to receive funding. However, sufficient funding is not available to fund all requests. Given the available funds, staff recommend prioritizing applicants who have prior partnerships with the city and robust experience working with the Sandy Springs community. Given the funding prioritization, staff recommend no funding for Reviving Leaders Collective Incorporated, Vegan Life Corporation, and Within the Mix Incorporated. during this funding cycle. Staff does recommend that the remaining 5 applicants be awarded the requested allowable amount of $15,000 each. With that, open to any questions you have.
You've heard the report of the Director of Recreation and Parks. What's the desire of council?
Mayor Paul.
Mr. Chinsky.
I move approval of Agenda Item 2026-124 to award fiscal year 2026 nonprofit arts and recreation program contracts and to authorize the city manager to execute the agreements.
Motion by Mr. Chinsky. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Ford. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question's on Agenda Item 2026-124, the award of fiscal year 2026 nonprofit arts and recreation program contracts. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The item is approved. Moving to Mayor and Council reports. Just a few things to kind of update Council. Last week was the Georgia Municipal Association had its Legislative Policy Council and also its Board of Directors meeting in College Park. I'm on both those, so I was there for 2 days. We went through the legislative policy. You'll see those at the annual. There'll be some minor changes to policy recommendations. You'll see those at the convention this summer. Nothing of any magnitude. Clearly, the focus of a lot of our conversations was on legislation that impacted municipal funding revenues. So there was a lot of conversation about that, knowing that that is an issue that's not going away. In fact, will come back over the summer as the legislature has a study committee on local revenues, as well as we anticipate legislation next year on municipal funding and revenue. So we're working through the summer on that. We started that process. My recommendation to them was you can't beat a bad idea with anything other than a better idea, and we need to come up with our own proposals that would achieve the policy goals that the legislature wants to see occur without putting us maybe not out of business, but hurting our ability to provide the services our communities come to expect. So we'll be working on that over the summer and trying to get that done. The SDS service delivery strategy conversations are going on with Fulton County. Nothing really significant to report yet. City manager's been, at this point, there have been a lot of staff conversations. We've got a meeting on the 12th of May to get in a room and start hashing some of this stuff out. So we'll be keeping everybody informed. They are public meetings. They'll be down at the courthouse. Clearly, we started the budget process today. That'll go until June when we finally produce the budget. So if members of the community are interested in how the City Council is proposing to spend your revenues this year, this is a great opportunity to pay attention and get involved and engaged and have conversations with Council. We cut the ribbon on the Abernathy Art Center's new ceramics facility. Most of us were there. A beautiful facility, very well done, and we're looking forward to getting those classes up and going. We've really become, excuse me, the arts and cultural hub for the North Metro area, and that's just another opportunity to provide more services in the arts and cultural area for our community. And then we kicked off our summer concert series on Sunday. Some of us were there, and it's a great way to start the summer. Great concert, good crowd, a lot of enthusiasm. We've got our first concert on the green on the 22nd with Sister Hazel. That's proven to be a very popular event. I was told that the tables, once they became available, sold out in 10 minutes. So it was a very popular event. We'll expect a nice crowd. Even if you don't get a table, come out. You can spread a blanket, have a chair, and enjoy some great music there. So that's my report for right now. Mr. Paulson.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple of things. So those of you that have been watching this Georgia 400 Managed Lanes project, just so you know, they received their notice to proceed, or their NTP, last week, which you can cut trees down while you're waiting on that, but you can't turn dirt over. Well, they now have an NTP, so now the earthwork starts, and it'll be great when it's done. Let's hope it gets done quickly. But that's number one. Just everybody aware that this notice to proceed has actually happened. The second item is we're voting again, in case nobody noticed. that just seems like yesterday, which seems like it was. One of the things that happened in the last election was in District 1, we had a voting precinct to vote for the city council people, and it was in Johns Creek. And so I talked to Rocky at length about this, and we found an alternative location for the District 1 folks to be able to vote in Sandy Springs for Sandy Springs items. And that is now the new polling location for that whole area of District 1. It's the Dunwoody Church. So those of you that are going to be voting in the primary, this has already started. There also are several other locations that have changed, one of which affects District 1 and I think maybe District 2. The middle school is no longer a polling location. And then, Rocky, tell us did I miss one? Are others in there, please?
Yes, the third location is Lake Forest Elementary School. It was a polling location. Those precincts have been relocated to our Heritage facility for the time being. Mhm.
Okay, and
So those were the
middle
three
school
changes.
is now they're voting at Temple Emmanuel, which is a little bit of a haul. But so Fulton County has shuffled the voting locations a bit, and I thought we ought to at least make everybody aware. If you haven't gone yet, go to the right place.
Yeah, go to the voter registration office website and double check your voting location to make sure you know. Early voting is already underway, I get the library and where else are we early voting?
Fulton County Annex.
The Annex, that's right, that's the other one. So a lot of people voted.
The library, yeah, the library.
Library, yeah. So, but whatever you do, please vote. Anybody else? Mr. Chinsky.
Just a few things around town. So this is championship week at Sandy Springs Youth Sports. So the spring baseball and softball teams will be wrapping up this week with closing ceremonies on Saturday. It's been a really a lot of fun this season. Yesterday, I had an unusual chance to meet the Jamaican ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Anderson, who is visiting Atlanta from Washington. We actually have, and Mayor, I know you know this, we have a Jamaican consul located in Sandy Springs, and the consul is a constituent and a Leadership Sandy Springs alum and longtime Sandy Springs resident. So we had a great conversation. He was very interested in the history of Sandy Springs and how we've been able to attract business. And to Councilmember Paulson's point on voting, he was very fascinated how many times we vote here compared to a lot of other areas around the country. Couldn't quite understand that, but I tried to explain. But that was really great. And this past weekend, I went to Zoo Atlanta for their annual gala. Even though outside the border of Sandy Springs, I learned that the zoo is going to be only one of 3 zoos in the country to have pandas coming back to it from China. So it's about a 20-minute drive for anybody who's interested in seeing some great animals. It's a great regional treasure.
Yeah, thank you for going to that. I was out of town on Monday and couldn't be there, and it was a great honor to have the ambassador here. Yeah, we do have our own fairly significant diplomatic corps here in town. I tell everybody Sandy Springs is the only town I know, or only city I know with its own foreign policy. So, all right, any others? All right, any staff reports? We do need an executive session for real estate and litigation.
Mayor Paul.
Mr. Paulson.
I move that we suspend regular order and move into executive session for the purposes of real estate and litigation.
We have a motion by Mr. Paulson. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Mr. Roberts that we suspend regular order and go into executive session for the purposes of real estate and litigation. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question is on the executive session. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. 723. All right, there will be no further business conducted today. We'll just simply come back in here, reconvene, return to regular order, and then immediately adjourn. Thank you. All right.
It's going to be a long one, Rusty, or?
Depends on you guys. Every time I think it's short, you know, it depends. I'm not in control.
I left with a big bag of Jamaican food, which was actually
jerk chicken.
They said, "You like spicy?" I said, "Yes." All right.
showing us was acceptable. And then they started to get defensive.
That's what that's what happens when they don't show it to me ahead of time.
Mayor Paul, I move that we close out executive session and back in regular order.
All right, I'll take your motion as soon as I get to the right page. Mr. Paulson.
Yes, I move that we close out executive session and back in regular order.
We have a motion by Mr. Paulson. Is there a second? Seconded by Mr. Roberts that we return to regular order. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. The question's on return to regular order. All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We're back in regular order. Mr. Paulson moves adjournment, seconded by Mr. Roberts. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. We are adjourned at 8:38. Yes, it is. I don't know, with all of that, we were in there just over an hour.